Hello my fellow car enthusiasts, how are you all doing today? Welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to work on my Subaru Legacy 3.0. I recently purchased this car, but as it tends to be when I purchase a car, it has some issues, which weren't there when I bought it. So it has two problems. First, it has a chain rattle. Now I would let you hear it, but okay, it has three problems. It has this issue as well. Yeah, I don't think you will be able to hear a rattle in this noise. So yeah, let's dive into it. By the way guys, I thought I should show you the second problem. Now this is the plastic cover for my Subaru. I've already removed it because I tried to reseal the oil pan. Apparently my leak wasn't originating from there. But yeah, as you can see, I have quite a substantial oil leak. Apparently the sound deadening was saturated in oil. It has only been tilted like this for about 1.5 days, and I come back to this lovely mess. I haven't been here for 1.5 days, so let me show you where it's probably originating from. We're going to find out and fix it, because I can't drive it with that oil leak. Now I am going to change the timing chain and the assembly for it, as I said, but on this engine, this is an EZ30, you have a front timing cover, the timing chain assembly, and you have a rear timing cover, which is then bolted to the engine block. And you have O-rings and probably other types of gaskets, I don't know yet, but we're going to find out, and I suspect one of those is leaking. Without further ado, let's dive into it. Now first let us raise the car a bit. Don't you just love the sight of this? Rust. Rust everywhere. I just hate it. But what are you going to do? Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Oops, wrong one. This is the one. And they are upside down like this. They always get a bunch of crap. Sorry if you're getting nauseous by my fine camera work. I mean, I'm just such a professional. You just have to be in awe. Right? Perhaps not. There, much better. 2 hands for the win. Sorry, one-handed people. Yeah, you can see the rust. I'm going to have to change all of these, and guess what? It's going to be stainless. There is a leak as well. And these pipes, I'm contemplating changing these fuel returns, these oil return, and this oil return, just to be on the safe side. It is a Japanese car after all, and they tend to rust a bit. So yeah, let's head back up top. Today is now a new day because I had to leave early yesterday. Now I have already loosened the crank pulley bolt and some jackass forgot to turn the camera on. But let me show you what I did to loosen it. And you don't need the special tool that Subaru workshop manual says. Let me show you. So yeah, what I did to loosen this bolt up, here, let me shed some light on the situation. I just took this breaker bar with the, oh, what was it? 22 mil? Yeah, 22 mil socket. Put it under there. You set it up like this under the chassis rail over there. Now I did it without removing the fuse for the ignition because I was confident in my ability to just flick the starter, but for your own sake and for your car's sake, remove the fuse either to the fuel pump or to the ignition, preferably the ignition. And then you just flick the starter just a tad, and this it will loosen the bolt. Let's crank on. You're not supposed to do that, by the way. Bad, Frederick. I thought I had to press it off. I'm clumsy. What are you going to do? Let's get this. Oh well. There's an O-ring here. I didn't see that before. Now I know why it had the cap on. Alright, let's go. Before attempting to loosen any hex or torque screw that's subject to the elements on a vehicle, I recommend that you clean them with a screwdriver first. And that is precisely what I am doing here. Because any dirt in the hole where the bits go can result in a rounded head. Now, there are 3 types of screws lengthwise. They are all M6s. Try to keep them organized and make up a template of where they're supposed to go or something. Now, this is a coolant pipe, which is bolted here and here to the timing chain cover. So don't forget to remove that before you start pulling and yanking. I suspect that might not be so good. So yeah. I was thinking of changing this pipe since it's so rusty. I saw that it's only about, what was it, 77 pounds. Since I'm ordering it from England, it's in GBP. Whoops, yeah. Those two. Now this is loose. Great, that's what we want. Now we can finish the rest of the bolts. There are some still here on the upper side and side here. One underneath the cam. So yeah, let's get topside. Of course the last bolt is going to give me trouble. Why? Well, you know the saying, everything is solved with a hammer. Or in this case, a sledgehammer. Now let's see. Oh yeah. in your face bolt. Now let's see if we can split it and how much oil is going to drip out. I wonder if I have missed something. There's a bolt. Yeah, I missed one bolt. But it shouldn't be anything else. No, still one. Under the other bulge for the can. Should have figured. Of course it's symmetrical. Or somewhat symmetrical. Now then, let's try again. And let's take a much bigger screwdriver. So we don't damage the aluminium too much. I'll just let it drip for a while. Let's come back later. Alright then. Now the engine has had some time to drip all of its oil out, which I should have drained. So if you're going to do this, drain the oil. I don't know why I didn't think about that, but... So yeah, let's see if we can continue bending this apart. There we go. Come on. What are you stuck on now? Okay. One big ass timing cover free. Okay, so after a bit of searching on the interwebs, I can shed some light on the situation, like so. Now that arrow is the TDC, and that is supposed to be just a tad bit over 12 o'clock, like it is right now. And that round indicator is supposed to be at about 40 degrees from horizontal position, which it is. It's quite hard to tell, perhaps looking through a camera, but that's exactly what it is. And this is the right-hand side seen from the driver. Now on the left-hand side, hold on. Now on the left-hand side, that round marking is supposed to be at about 15 degrees from horizontal position, which it also is. So at the moment it is in top dead center. We can start disassembling all of this, starting with the tensioner down here. It's a bit hard to show you, but starting with this for the right hand side chain. After that, you're supposed to loosen that chain guide between the cams, and then you're supposed to loosen this chain guide going from the idler pulley, or idler sprocket I should say, and last but not least, the chain guide that the tensioner was pushing on. Let's start by cranking these bolts loose. Now, I should also mention, if you're going to reuse this and just change the chain guides and the chain, you have to make sure that the piston or plunger, whatever you want to call it, don't drop out of the casing for the tensioner. You have to make sure that it stays inside. It specifically says so in the service manual. So yeah, don't drop it out. And that goes for both chain tensioners. I have to say, these guides look like brand new, at least the one I took off before. I don't know, I can't see much wear in them at all. Oh well, if I change them, which I'm going to do since I already bought the parts, I at least know that they are new. So whatever. Feels a bit pointless though, I have to admit. I'm not quite sure why Subaru decided to use both hex screws, regular 6-point screws, and Torx like this is. This is a T50 Torx. I think that's quite odd. I see no need for it. Alright then, that's one side done. Here's the plunger you can see that I was talking about. Don't let it drop out of the casing. Now it's the same as on the other side. You have a little chain guide right here between the intake and the exhaust sprocket. So that goes off next after the tensioner. And that's, I forgot to mention that on the first side it's 5mm hex screws. Loctite on this one, but not the other one. Weird. Other side, I mean. Must be Loctite on this one as well. It's quite tight, snug. Then it's time for this one down here, and that's a 12mm, same as the other regular 6-point bolts on this. Some have been 17 as well, so, or well, one so far. And just wiggle it off the tab. And the last one is T50 Torx again. And now to remove the chain. Or no, wait. I have to remove this idler pulley first. Sorry, idler sprocket. So let's remove this idler sprocket. And I tear everything apart. There. To remove this idler sprocket without knocking everything off the current positions. Now down here below the crankshaft sprocket you have another guide that you must remove, which is also fastened by two 5mm screws. There we have it, everything removed as of now. Now I just have to remove the back part. So I have a few sprockets to remove first. Hello guys, it's been a few weeks because when we left off I had to either decide to buy the cam tools to remove the cam gear or make one. So what I decided to do was make this simple little tool. Took me probably like 10 minutes because I found these hex screws. It's a bit dark, but I measured these hex screws on a fluke, and turns out these are 13 mil in diameter, and the holes in the crank sprockets are 14 millimeters. So just drill the holes after measuring, of course, and grind out a bit for the center bolt that you have to remove, and away we go. Much better than spending on a piece of steel that would frankly do the same thing that this does. So let's dive into it. All right, now let's see if this tool will do the trick. I certainly hope so. Oh, I hope this isn't... No, worked like a treat. Or like a charm, or whatever, you know. By the way, this bolt is a 10 millimeter hex screw, as well as the intake ones. I love it when they are keyed and not a press fit, like on my 1.9 TDI. Oh, no, yeah, well, keyed. One exhaust sprocket done. One to go, and then 2 intake sides. I just noticed the cams are different. I mean, they're different from right side to left side, because this is much thicker. This one is just the sprockets and nothing else, while this one has a meat to it. But as you can see, let's see here. Left hand exhaust. So you can't really mess them up unless you absolutely try. Now let's try again. Like so. I hope I don't flick the camera now, because it's in the danger zone, quite frankly. Ah, come on, loosen up. Ah, there we go. So here you can see it's a bit more beefy than the other one. Also, it's recessed in the back. And here you can see it's also labeled right hand side exhaust. Now, as for the intake side, I just threaded some spare bolts that I had lying around, and I'm going to hold it in place like so while I crack it open. So yeah, let's see how this goes. Camera is in the danger zone again, but let me just take a new hold on this, because I don't want to ruin my camera. What the? I bent the flat piece of steel. You know what, I might actually take this opportunity to go and buy some breaker bars, because I don't really seem to have anything good to pry it with. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go and buy it tomorrow, so see you tomorrow, fellas. Alrighty, that's it for part 1. Thank you so much for watching. If you're interested in watching part 2, which will be up shortly, please consider subscribing, and if you liked what you saw, I would really appreciate a thumbs up. Until next time.